Hello there and welcome back to Knights of the Nerd Republic. I am your host, Jared the Dark Jedi, and joining me this week is one Professor Levi.
Well, boys, how's it going?
And we are, at last, rejoined by everybody's favorite manic Sith Lord. Travis is gonna hate. We're turning him way down. It is still really loud. We are joined by everybody's favorite manic Sith Lord, Darth Id.
Oh.
Hello, everybody.
Okay, when you lifted your arm to scratch it, so when you scratch your arm and pulled up your sleeve, I really thought for a second you were about to start armpit farting into the microphone. And he's doing it with his hands. Excellent. Why did we insist that you come back on again?
I don't know. Show couldn't handle it. You can't handle yourselves without me.
Where's the name Michaelis from? Where is that?
What? It's from Michael. It's from my name.
Right, but what piece of fiction is it from? Sounds like a pretty cool Sith name.
Michaelis?
Yeah, Darth Michaelis.
I agree.
Darth Id's better.
Darth Id.
Whatever you say.
Darth Id did it better.
Isn't id that weird part of your mind?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Or is that's what I like to call the lizard brain.
I think that was part of a Naruto filler.
Probably.
The id.
You know, the Emperor of Japan, speaking of which, his name is Naruhito.
Naruhito?
So, Naruto fans have, gotten their wish in some ways. Naruto is now the Emperor of Japan.
I don't think I've ever seen that arc.
Well, we're gonna see it. It's gonna happen.
Darth Id. How was your week?
Oh, there have been many weird, odd events that have happened in my life. But
Talk about them.
Well, okay. I have to take a guy to Divine Liturgy tomorrow morning at 8:20. I'm excited for that. It's gonna be a good time. What else? I read a book. I finished the book St. Leibowitz and the Wild Horsewoman about post-apocalyptic America, which is fun. The United States is totally devolved. It doesn't exist anymore. I'm one of the leads in a play, a musical at Gilbert and Sullivan. It's going to be fun. It's going to be
really?
at
When
Home
is
University. April 24th, 25th, and 26th.
I'll be there.
Okay, sweet. Thank you. I'm Giuseppe. I play an Italian. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Levi and I can give you some pointers.
Yeah. Okay.
Get moi moi spaghetti.
Okay. Are you sure? Okay.
Yeah.
I need all the SpaghettiOs I can get. I need them Cheerios. I need them not them baguettes, but whatever your yins Italians eat and all that.
Teach you a couple secrets from our old pal Pasquale.
I'm excited to learn about this later. Or maybe sorry, you're frightened. That sounds like some sort of monster squid. Pasquale.
No, Pasquale.
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 He's every Italian stereotype put into a Chuck E. Cheese puppet.
Oh, wait,
he's part of the Chuck E. Cheese cast.
He's from would I encounter him at the mall?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
If you
he's the mouse. He's the mouse, right?
No,
that's Chucky.
He's the chef.
There's a smaller one though, right?
No.
There's also a mouse.
No.
What is he then?
There's Chuck
He's
E.
a chef.
Cheese, who's the rat.
But is he a human?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a human pizza chef named Pasquale.
With a porn star mustache.
You like little
No, not little. It's it's dummy thick.
You mean like Henry Cavill Mission Impossible?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Which we just told Levi that story last week on
about
Nerd Academy.
About the contractual
the Justice League mustache gate.
And that was the whole movie, right? Like that, yeah.
Well, no, it was for the reshoots for Justice League.
Okay.
And they had to get, but the extensive reshoots, it may as well have been a whole other movie, but yeah. So I'm glad you're having a wonderfully weird week, as you always do.
Thank you.
Levi, how was your week, buddy?
I'm fully caught up on World Trigger, the anime I told you about last time.
Yeah?
I think on TNAP, yeah. It stopped halfway through a tournament arc, and I'm real salty about it. But I've heard rumors that it's gotten a reboot, so
yeah,
we might get to see the end of it. maybe, or at least it'll get some.
I love a good
closure.
tournament. So,
what else? Oh, pardon me. I took a couple of my friends to get. Oh, it was you.
Wow.
I got Jared and Mike to try sushi for the first time today.
Oh, sushi.
We have a local sushi joint, Tokyo Sushi and Hibachi, Americanized Japanese food run by an ethnic Chinese family.
I love America so much.
God, it gets me excited.
And we went during lunchtime. They got some major good deals for lunch.
Oh yeah,
The great deal's the greatest.
So I had them
Don't.
try. I had them try an Alaskan roll and a spicy salmon roll.
both were very good.
Mhm.
Very good. Very happy with both of them.
Hibachi was a bit more than I expected, but it was very tasty. Scrumptious.
They're just scrumptious.
Yeah.
Of course, you use the word scrumptious.
Steamy.
Stop. You're not supposed to be trying to have sex with the food, Michael.
Remember Plankton in that one SpongeBob episode where like SpongeBob's describing the Krabby Patty and Plankton's in his head, and SpongeBob says steamy, and Plankton's like steamy, and he hops out of SpongeBob's head. Remember that? No,
Mm-mm.
nobody remembers that.
I do. I just don't like you
Huh.
retelling it at all. It's unsettling at best.
Let's see, what else have I done this week?
You powered through like a third of Death Note.
That's right. Yeah, we did
Yeah,
that.
well, you did that too. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was there too.
Yeah.
Yes, you were.
We hung out a lot this week. It
Yeah,
makes me
We
happy.
did. It was
Yeah.
good.
So we've.
Then I dropped over $100 at a comic book shop today, and then that happened.
I dropped half that with those two books. Or no, like 38. Like a little.
I
was saying,
didn't.
those were only 50. There's no way those were more than like 20 a shot.
Yeah.
I didn't do that.
You're all the better for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Mike, you're the only one who can actually talk about what they bought on this show, though.
What do you mean?
What
Because
did
you
I
actually
buy?
bought Star Wars shit.
Oh
I didn't.
yeah, duh. Yeah,
Ah.
I got the Age of
Age of Republic.
Age of Republic, the heroes and the villains comics separately, and they're not bad. I was paging through. I like the Qui-Gon one; it was pretty neat.
Qui-Gon one's lots of fun.
Yeah, and the Maul one was kind of just was there. I'm like, okay,
The Maul one
he's there.
is the Qui-Gon one, but it's about Darth Maul.
Yeah,
It's the same thing.
but it's like,
I
well,
don't mind it, but it's the same exact
He
story.
didn't really do. Nothing really happened. He was like, I cannot wait to slaughter the Jedi.
I know that's what I like
It's
about the
like,
Age of Republic
okay.
comics, though, is that like nothing really earth shattering happens in any of them,
Yeah,
but you get a really nice peek inside of all those characters' heads.
Mhm.
yeah,
Like the Dooku one is lots of fun because
That
you
was
see
good.
just how stone cold he is as a person. Him
I
and
saw
you
he
get
goes to Pancake Land.
yeah, he
right?
goes to Pancake Land and he also interacts with Jedi Master Tony the Tiger.
I was gonna say I'm like, what the? Oh, all right, you know.
Oh wow, we're at even 10 minutes.
There's a lot of cats
Oof.
in this. It's gonna be catty.
And Jesus.
Because Jellicles can.
Okay, no. A, we're gonna get copyright striked. B,
Jellicles can't, and they won't. Sorry. Yeah.
but yeah,
Evangelist.
had a good time with you guys this week. It's been a lot of fun. I beat my first playthrough.
No, hold on.
Oh, I didn't realize you were not done. I'm sorry.
Jared, how was your week?
That was amazing. You're learning so quickly. I beat my first playthrough of the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2, and I have to go back and replay it on Team Cap.
There's an Ultimate Alliance 3.
There is, but it's a Switch exclusive.
It is. Speaking of the Switch, I did watch Scott the Woz talk about the Switch for an hour.
Yeah? How was that?
It was entertaining. Yeah, he's a funny guy.
So I've heard.
Mhm.
With that, we actually have some Star Wars to talk about this week. As has been the reoccurring trend for a little bit here, is that we are light on the news, but we do have a Clone Wars review to have. And the news that we do have all centers around the novelization for one Star Wars story, a little one. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with it, called The Rise of Skywalker.
Skywalker. Yes.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with it. I'm kidding. I only wish I could purge it from my memory.
Oh yeah, my dad. I learned about this development. I think you're talking. I'm like, what? You know, like
that is exactly my reaction to almost all of it. So I'm gonna go through the big three because there have been lots of. I can't talk tonight. My God. There have been lots of revelations that have come out of the novelization over the past week. The smaller one that I saw people talking about today was how in the actual hell Rey was able to take the X-Wing from Ahch-To to Exegol.
That's fine. It's got a hyperdrive. Kylo shouldn't have been able to.
Okay,
this damn TIE fighter didn't have
what they're talking about
hyperdrive.
is the fact that it's been flooded and underwater for at least several years.
Hey, well, Anakin's lightsaber from the Clone Wars could work underwater. So there's no saying that an X-Wing can't. So there you go.
Whoa. Those are not the same thing.
Well, hey, I think an X-Wing is more realistic than a freaking laser sword that can cut through anything.
It's not about what's more realistic. It's about if I put an airplane underwater for, let's be charitable and say 5 years.
It's vacuum sealed, baby. You can't flood it.
Okay, you know what isn't vacuum sealed, baby?
What?
The goddamn engines on that thing.
Yeah, they are. He probably turned them off, or he
turned them off.
He probably put plugs in them.
Plugs in them. He crashed the thing into the ocean.
He didn't crash it. He like it. I mean, maybe crashed it. Yeah, okay, but he probably had the shields on, so like it was like like a. It's like a a plop, like a stone.
That and the visual dictionary for The Last Jedi specified that the door on Luke's hut was made from the nose of his X-wing.
Okay, yeah, that is true.
So it's heavily implied that thing was ripped apart.
Maybe it was a spare.
There's more context for Luke crashing his X-wing than there is for Reylo in the movies.
That is not true.
Say that one more time. There's more context.
He's just trying to start a fight. You're just trying to start a fight.
There's more detail about how Luke crashes his X-wing than there is about Reylo being a thing.
No, you just need to pay attention to their arc.
I don't know what to think. I mean, it was a lot of friendergy. There was a lot of friendergy, I think. Like, she wanted to be his friend. But, yeah. I didn't really see romantic stuff, really. But, like, I see how it could have. But at the same time, like... I agree. You know me. But, like, I see both your guys' thoughts, so... But, I don't know. What's more entertaining?
Holding our breath for the Reylo one. Because I know that's going to be the knife fight.
I was trying to segue.
Oh, I want to go through, like, the big three. I
thought that was one of the big
Stalin,
three.
They
Roosevelt,
are.
and Churchill. Was the big three.
Okay, I mean, Palpatine's a clone, Palpatine's son is a clone, and then
the son,
the kiss thing. So, anyway, what I was getting at was I explained that, like, Rey basically rewires the whole X-Wing. Which
makes sense if she's a scavenger, and
which
Luke is probably
does.
like,
yeah, that
hey,
makes sense.
That I can forgive.
Just how she, like, bypassed the compressor.
Yeah.
In The Force Awakens.
Well, like, she bypassed the compressor.
I bypassed the compressor.
Huh.
That's just one of those like meaningless Star Wars lingo. Like, it puts too much pressure on the motivator drive.
Well, I mean,
the what?
Unless you're into ships, internal dampeners, ion cannons, blaster cannons.
I'm just saying, anytime somebody starts like really loudly and confidently in the movie starts talking about like ships and the machinery.
Yeah, that's more Star Trek territory.
Like that's just when you have to turn off your brain. That's just that's when the audience is meant to turn off their brain because they're just gonna say words that sound scientific until everybody just goes, okay, thing on ship is broken. Thing on ship is fixed. I bypassed the motivator. It puts too much
compressor.
The compressor. Anyway, so one of the passages from the book that have it's not wise to use the term leaked.
AKA Dark Empire.
Oh, I have so many feelings. So this is the specific passage that has that started the shitstorm about this novel. I also want to say up top, I don't want this to be a takedown on Ray Carson, the author. I don't.
Who told him to write? you're saying.
None of the things that she has had to put in this book are on her. Because she has the Herculean task of taking a story that is already pretty weak and then having to, like, spread it out over how many hundreds of pages?
Do surgery on it to...
And, like, add details. Like, every Star Wars novel does. It's novelization of a movie does. Where they just, like, pepper in, like, random factoids. It's, like, make the story slightly more rich.
What story was it where Anakin saw a star die and he heard a voice?
Revenge of the Sith novel.
Star Wars.
Okay. What did you say?
He just said Star Wars in general.
Wow.
Like, and that's what I'm saying. That, like, right, the Revenge of the Sith novelization.
Yeah.
We're like, and I've said, I will say this till the day I die. Anybody who loves Revenge of the Sith as a movie, who has the misfortune of reading or listening to that audiobook, are never going to enjoy watching the movie again, because the entire time you're like, why isn't this scene there? Why isn't this scene there? This should have been in the movie too.
But it's like you have to think of reverse engineer, like
and that's the thing, is that these novelizations are typically written with a draft of the screenplay that is maybe 2 or 3 iterations away from what's in the movie. Most of it's in there, but there are going to be sections and excerpts that are completely missing from the film that didn't even get turned into a deleted scene necessarily.
Like develop stuff in different ways, make things look different.
Like in the Force Awakens novelization, you know, like we see how Poe escapes Jakku. We see Poe and Rey get introduced to each other, which has become one of my like new favorite weird little continuity errors. Is that
she should have she should have met him after they got back to from Starkiller, right?
Yeah, in the novel, that's where they meet.
Oh,
for the Force Awakens. But once The Last Jedi comes out, there's
I'm Poe.
Hi, I'm Poe.
Well, maybe it's like you could retcon it in your head
that he forgot.
Yeah,
you could do all kinds of acrobatics, which I have seen. Or
maybe he was being a smart aleck.
He's trying to hang. Trying to get to know her.
Like that's that was like a little meme going around on Star Wars Twitter for a hot minute, which was like Poe's just so aloof and just kind of laser brained.
Yeah.
That like that's his default when he doesn't know what to say, is he just introduces himself.
He did too much spice as a kid.
Yeah. Again, don't get me started.
To me, that kind of makes sense. Just a little aside, that makes sense. Like if he's a hero, maybe he's like Kylo. You know, it's hard for him to grow up in the shadow of his parents being heroes. So he kind of, a lot of pressure. So he does some bad things.
Which I can get down with.
And that's what I say.
Which I can get down with if there wasn't already canon material that said that he did the reverse of that and went, I will rise to the occasion.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
So
there was a whole Poe Dameron comic series that came out after The Force Awakens.
But that never addresses his early stuff. That's only stuff like
no, but they basically say that that the moment he joined the Republic fleet and then left the Republic to join the Resistance.
Well, maybe before that he was running spice.
Well, obviously he had to have been doing it before then, but what I'm saying is like this kid had an eventful teens. Is what I'm saying, is that he was like, hey, I'm a drug dealer. Guess I'm gonna go join the military. Like,
well, spice isn't. I mean, I always understood spice to be not only like there's some legal spice, some illegal spice.
Oh yeah,
but still, I
mean, you can go to the spice
it's
dispensary, or you can be like on the street doing crystal spice.
Yeah, because like Owen told Luke that your dad was a navigator on a spice freighter, which could be like a legitimate job. Like maybe we have to look at spice as like tobacco, maybe, or like alcohol.
Yeah, that's another thing that's never been explained.
But it should. I think it should. We should question it. We should think about it.
Yeah, it's cocaine, right?
Well, I mean, a lot of versions depict it as
spice
being
of life.
What?
Like it
don't do it
because it's bad, but.
I think that's what
we here at the Nerd Academy do not endorse the use of cocaine.
Like Eric Clapton's got a banging song about cocaine.
I know he does, and I don't.
And you know who likes Eric Clapton? Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
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 So if you like Eric Clapton, you're a communist. No.
Oh.
What the hell?
I mean,
anyway.
Anyway, what was I
don't
saying?
let me forget. That's the song I'm using in the Instagram story about this episode. So this is the bit from the novel about Palpatine being a clone.
God.
What could you give me? Kylo asked. Emperor Palpatine lived. Palpatine lived after a fashion, and Kylo could feel in his very bones that this clone body sheltered the Emperor's actual spirit. It was an imperfect vessel, though, unable to contain his immense power. It couldn't last much longer. So...
Too late, Skywalker, too late. Smashes all the damn, not Dark Empire, not Dark Empire. It's like the last clone that Palpatine inhabits before Luke breaks all the vats. Too late, Skywalker, too late. Jared, you're like Luke, trying to smash all the vats in Dark Empire, and it's too late. You remember that scene in Dark Empire?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
And that is too... Can you get,
There's a meme in my head, and, I've crafted it, yeah. Yeah, if I could meme it, I will.
Send me, if you can find that frame, send it to me and I'll make the meme for you.
Yeah. It's like Dark Empire, Dark Empire possibilities on each of the vats. And then,
and then it's just you in the main vat, just too late, Jared, too late. So, I can't believe this is about to come out of my mouth. This is even dumber than Dark Empire.
Ooh.
But
how? I mean, it makes sense. If he survived the explosion, he's going to have to inhabit something. His body couldn't have handled that.
So, here's my thing, and this is what I'll say.
Yeah.
I think, in my personal opinion, that even if it's a clone, and it's a clone that's failing, why does his face still look like a scrotum? Why does he not look like handsome Ian McDiarmid, or hell, even Palpatine's clone son, which we'll get to in a minute.
Doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it.
Probably it's the rage and shit, or continue, sorry.
Well, it's not even that. I understand, dark side degradation.
Yeah.
But I feel like dark side degradation and, this is, the imported from China, Wish version of a new body. You can get the new body from Amazon, or you can get the one from Wish. He got the one from Wish, and it came already looking like a scrotum, and was already falling apart. I don't understand. If it was falling apart, it should just look like a zombified version of Phantom Menace Palpatine. Or even young Palpatine, which I guess we know what that looks like now.
But his face looked better in the weak clone than it did at the end of Revenge of the Sith, or at the end of Rise of Skywalker even. He looked healthier. He didn't have so many wrinkles. He was more
maybe not as many wrinkles.
Because the skin wasn't there. He was rotting away.
Yeah.
There was more skin. No, there's more. I'm talking about his face. I'm just talking about his face.
Okay, he had less wrinkles, but his shit was still sunken in. His face was way thinner. He was all gaunt.
I don't think so. I thought
his
it was
hands
pudgy looking.
No, his hand. It was probably
That's
pudgy
just
looking.
The light effects.
That and the way he's shot and positioned, because he's all curled up and already has a double chin just from the fact that he's squishing everything up into himself.
I disagree. I think he looked healthier still, as in the
with no clone. Fingers and grayed out eyes.
Again, I'm just talking about his face. Yeah, the eyes were the only thing, but the rest of him was he looks like a grandpa. Or
his
something.
mouth was all decaying.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, his mouth was black. He had meth mouth.
No, wait. Let me.
What were you saying, Levi?
So biologically speaking, now,
but he looked more human. The villainous. He looks fine. His mouth's a little black and his eyes are screwed up, but other than that, he's fine. His skin's white. That's it. He's fine. He's fine. Haven't you ever seen old people get mad? There you go. I mean, come on. This is where we live.
What are you saying? This is where we live.
Rey is, biologically speaking, she is the daughter of Palpatine.
Jesus, yeah, you're right. Yeah,
she's the...
It's like Boba Fett times... if Boba Fett were to kill clones, is he killing his brothers? Is he killing himself? Is he killing his uncles, his cousins? It's
and that's what I was about to say. Is that when there's this whole other
Levi's
weird...
still right, though, I think. He's
That was... And I did see a think piece that was isn't Rey technically Palpatine's daughter now? Which
he's kind of right.
I mean, if we go by the
strictly looking at genetics, yes, she is.
Strictly looking at genetics, yes. If we go with the way that Clone Wars has always handled how cloning and
You can clone a body,
family
but you can't
lines
clone a
go.
soul, it seems.
Not necessarily that, but like the fact that like if the clones all consider each other brothers, that technically makes Django the father. If that's how they're looking at it, and it's, you know, like we're all brothers because we're all copy pasted from the same DNA.
Yeah.
Then like the idea that like and maybe like, you know, again, he's referred to as a failed clone, which we'll read that in a minute. The idea that like this guy was raised as Palpatine's offspring, kind of like Boba and Django. That just
makes even more questions.
That's
like,
just
what,
it just gets weirder the more you think about it.
But then again, this is Star Wars, and you know
it's so goddamn weird.
That is why she has the power to be all of the Jedi.
I am all the shit.
Which again makes this even weirder. What is all of that about? Like, what did the concept of the Sith do?
A friend of mine had a theory that, like, when the Sith die, what they do, instead of really dying, they just sort of latch on to the spirit of the next Sith, so then they become even more evil and more powerful. So that eventually, over a period of time, Palpatine literally he has all of them latched to his own spirit, making him that much more evil, because all of them, they were all evil, so their evilness combines with his to create some, like, literally, like, not even so much as a person, but literally what Palpatine...
Like a collective,
Palpatine's not even a collector. Palpatine's wet dream of always just being the dark side incarnate. I know this is a Legends idea, but I still think it, from what we see in Episode 9, it applies.
If that's the dark side, then how is I am all of the Jedi explained?
Because they don't do that. They don't latch on. They don't take advantage of each other. They're about healthy relationships and loving one another.
It's a
different way, but similar principle.
Then why didn't they do that when Luke approached it?
Wait, when
in Episode 6?
Well, maybe there was
no... Because they didn't exist yet.
Well, I will say this much. In some of the excerpts I've read in the novelization...
And there's the problem.
Well, maybe they did do it, and we just didn't see it.
Which, again, Star Wars is meant to be a multimedia franchise. There are elements when...
If it doesn't make sense in the movie, though, it's a bad movie.
Or it's just one element that doesn't make sense. I'm not necessarily trying to defend The Rise of Skywalker as a film, because there are a lot of things that are, you know, game-breaking for the franchise there. But I don't mind there being the occasional nugget of, because it's a big multimedia thing, that you're meant to kind of pick up other material to like be like, oh, this is so much cooler. This has so much more context. With the whole I am all the Jedi thing, in the visual dictionary, and the novel points it out a lot of the times too, that there is a connection between Exegol and the world between worlds. And that through that connection, it's implied that Rey has kind of opened up a window, or that a window in the Force is opened on Exegol.
What's the world between worlds again?
It's that weird, like, astral plane from Rebels.
No.
Where, like, Ahsoka, or like, where, like, Ezra pulls Ahsoka through the portal to save her.
Okay.
And, like, and then it's not necessarily say that it's time travel in Clone Wars. It's more like Harry Potter style time travel, where you're not changing the timeline. You always time traveled in the timeline. It's just a matter of when and when you experience it. Where, like, you know, the first time we see Harry and company, you know, go to Hagrid's hut, Harry has the pebble thrown at his head.
Yeah.
He always has the pebble thrown at his head because Harry always throws the pebble at himself.
Because it always happened, yeah.
You just didn't see it happen. Right. That's the same with Ahsoka. Not yet,
because he hasn't experienced it.
Yeah, and that's the same with Ahsoka, is that the audience is meant to believe that Vader kills Ahsoka in that temple.
Right.
Well, that is time travel.
It is time travel in effect. It's just that, like, Ezra didn't go back and change the timeline. Ahsoka always got pulled out of the got pulled through the portal.
Right. That's time travel.
I know. I'm just saying, like, as opposed to like a Back to the Future style thing where like Marty goes back in time and tells
universe time travel.
Yeah, as opposed to, you know, like Marty telling Doc, "Hey, we're a bulletproof vest," and then stopping Doc's death.
Right.
Because it didn't always happen.
Exactly, because Doc died,
I think,
and then he didn't.
I kind of see your point. It kind of makes sense.
Where with the world between worlds being this very weird, ethereal thing, the Jedi of old kind of like crept through that door, and whether or not they gave Rey a glorified pep talk or like, you know, souped her up and gave her that like force boost.
I think they'd had to have done that.
That's what I assume happened there.
If he's all the Sith.
Yeah, and I mean,
if he can go like this,
go
for 2 seconds and take out
overdrive.
a fleet.
That was the greatest. That made me so happy.
Which is another problem I have with the movie, because when he turns back to Rey,
don't unplug the green.
Oh, is there anything I can unplug?
Yeah, you don't have to unplug it.
Oh,
so you're gonna unplug the whole ass soundboard. Kind of need that.
Oops, sorry.
I just don't.
Sorry,
like
you were
the
saying.
whole, I just don't like
like
the
that?
entire ending.
I agree with you.
Because like
that was so great.
Big Willie energy right here.
Big Willie
taking out the whole fleet. He turns back to Rey. It's back to limp PP energy.
Because he doesn't need to do that.
Yes, he does.
Because he's arrogant.
He's
arrogant. He thinks he can just take her out with like 10%
my rationale
power.
for that. My rationale for that is that I do think he's coming at her with the same level, and that's why she passes out dead. Is that there's some amount of like passive, like barrier that is like keeping it all here on the lightsaber, as opposed to like the massive torrent, and like that's why she passes out and dies for a moment.
You mean because of,
is it like
she had to resist that?
Is it she had to like
barrage?
Yeah, is it like she like it kind of like Luke does in The Last Jedi, that she overstretches herself with the Force?
I think
like trying to contain it into that beam that she can, you know, throw back in his face.
Yeah.
Because you got to figure, like, the last time he caught his own lightning to the face, it scarred him. This, like, it immediately disintegrates him
because of how powerful it was. I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
So
that's
my logic there. But again, it's done in such a sloppy way that, like, what's happening here? Like, it's almost like Suicide Squad's climax and the fight with Enchantress, where like,
I can give you anything you want.
Like all of a sudden, like bullets and swords and shit work on this goddess.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, right. Oh. Yeah, she could have just like beamed somewhere else for a second, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't even remember barely anything that. Yeah, I still don't like that Luke had to die. I mean, I thought that Luke, he kind of gave himself up. I thought he just sort of let himself die. I don't think, to me, he didn't have to die, but I was still glad he did in a way. I don't know.
No, I feel you.
Why couldn't Palpatine hop to another clone?
That's another question. That's another one that I'm confused
maybe
about.
he did.
Because all
maybe
the
he
Jedi
did.
took out all of the Sith? Like,
yeah, maybe. Yeah. But then again, maybe he did. What if he did?
Well, and again, that's another thing. And again, we're talking about Dark Empire.
His face is red.
Why is this body not serving him well anymore important?
Well, probably because he's
because if there's enough clones and we made a couple Snokes and we made a Sheev Jr., bruh, go into another one. Like, I don't understand. Like, and that's
maybe,
again one of those things.
Maybe what he did. Maybe he did at the end. Maybe he's not defeated. I don't know.
But why does that? That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Is that, like, this is it's Dark Empire but dumber, and I didn't think that existed because I didn't like it the first time.
I still disagree with you.
And I like
still
it
say Dark Empire
less
is
this
great,
time.
but
it's okay. It's the same basic principle. It's the same basic principle, but dumber. Like, regardless if you like it or not, it's Dark Empire. Like, I already think Dark Empire is kind of dumb. Like, let's just say, like, let's take it from your perspective. Okay, it's Dark Empire, but dumb, period.
Yeah, that's what I don't even know if it's dumb. It's just like,
sloppy.
It's sloppy.
Certainly
and
sloppy.
it can be weak at times, but Luke smashing.
Why couldn't they just sprinkle in 2 seconds of Palpatine saying, "Oh yes, Exegol is a bridge between"?
Because that wouldn't make any fucking sense, because it hasn't been brought up, I think, in previous episodes.
But then it would have. Well, neither.
That's what I don't like. I'm honestly mad that Star Wars has introduced time travel. I wanted it to stay out of there.
That at the very least would have explained how they were finally with Rey. You know.
Well.
Otherwise, we get this asshole Deus Ex Machina.
It wasn't though, because they were
It kind of was
establishing
though, because she was defeated, and then all of a sudden the thing she failed spectacularly at the beginning for no apparent reason.
No, she was always trying to get to them. She was always
that's what I'm saying.
But a Deus Ex Machina just completely comes out of nowhere, and this did not. This was established.
Okay,
this is a supernatural force aiding the protagonist.
Well, okay, but it's
Deus Ex Machina,
okay.
though.
I'll say this
Coming
much:
out of
it may not be a
Deus
literal Deus Ex Machina, but it's still weird, and it still is kind of game breaking.
There's no apparent reason for them to be with her at that moment, as opposed to when she was actively trying.
When you're talking about things of the divine, they're not gonna follow reason though. They're just gonna be
it,
and they're just gonna be in the form of bad movie writing.
Well, you maybe.
So moving on from Palpatine himself being a clone.
Yeah, that was big dumb. They should have just made him Plagueis.
I am tough. Did you have a hit? Wait,
Hold on, I'm restarting my
Luke
phone here.
smashing Palpatine bats, Dark Empire.
We also have the fact that, like we alluded to earlier, Rey's father is also a clone of Palpatine.
Also dumb.
Also very dumb.
Killed his father, Rey Skywalker. He killed his son, Sheev Jr. He killed his son, Sheev Jr.
So she technically killed her father.
Yeah.
From a certain point of view.
The Jedi are taking over.
So, I'm going to read directly from this article here.
Damn it, I can't find it. I'll send it to you, though.
That's why she's a Skywalker. She killed her parents.
You sick bastard. Oh man, I wanted this movie to be so good. Star Wars is packed with things that leave loose ends dangling for fans to speculate on, but because this is Star Wars, we're talking about what we actually had to wait too long for the creators inside of the film to pick up those loose ends and run with them. This happened first at the Visual Dictionary, released in conjunction with the film, which lent plenty of intriguing new details to the people and places in the Rise of Skywalker. And now it's happening again with the novelization, dubbed an expanded edition, which isn't necessarily unique to the Rise of Skywalker. They did the same for The Last Jedi. And I like that term a lot anyway. As the name suggests, Ray Carson's novel attempts to expand on various scenes and concepts laid out by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. It doesn't change what happens in the movie, but in many cases, more context will be brushed into to deepen the mythology. Because many of the film's greatest mysteries surround the resurrected Emperor Palpatine, it's natural that Carson is expanding concepts surrounding Palpatine in particular. Now we know that one such explanation includes the revelation
Expansion.
What did I say?
You said explanation.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
One such expansion includes the revelation that Palpatine's son is not actually his son in a strict biological sense. I hate this so much. In the film, Kylo Ren reveals to Rey that she is, in fact, a Palpatine, specifically the Emperor's granddaughter. Flashbacks show us brief glimpses of Rey's parents as a Jedi hunter tracks them down and murders them after they've hidden young Rey on Jakku, but no further context is given. We are only told that Palpatine apparently had a son, which left the entire internet free to make all manner of jokes about the Emperor's sex life. But that's not the whole story. Not even using the name Screen Rant yet, because I don't want to have to talk about them until the next part. As we reported earlier this month, the novel confirms that Palpatine's body in The Rise of Skywalker is a clone, albeit a, quote, imperfect one. That will not be able to contain his spirit for much longer. Near the end of the book, as Palpatine pressures Rey to take part in the Sith ceremony in which she'll replace him, she's able to read his thoughts and gains a better understanding of exactly why this has happened. When Palpatine apparently died at the end of Return of the Jedi, he'd already been planning to prolong his life for years, sensing Vader's eventual betrayal. Shut up, Mike. With this in mind, he'd instructed his followers to begin making him a new body.
Like Dank Empire.
Hence the clone, and he thrust his consciousness out of his body before it even hit the bottom of the shaft in the Death Star. Silence. I want everybody to know this is the first time reading this.
Too late, Jared. Too late.
I'm sorry. This is so fucking stupid. It's so fucking stupid. This is so stupid. This is so fucking stupid.
He couldn't even stick around to take the full shaft.
Didn't want to get shafted.
When Palpatine's spirit
couldn't even take the full shaft.
Oh, shut up. When Palpatine arrived on Exegol.
What does that even mean? Arrived, like floated?
Instant transmission?
Yeah, instant transmission. He arrived on Exegol, though. He found that his loyal Sith Eternal followers hadn't finished their work.
What work?
The body.
What are Sith Eternals?
Yeah, who the fuck are they?
The cult on Exegol.
But still, who are they?
When did he get them to Exegol?
Who are they?
They were already on Exegol.
Were they like Imperial children who got raised to be some sort of weird cult for him? Probably, right?
No. Well, the Sith Eternal cult was already on Exegol. That was where that cult was from.
Okay.
And because Palpatine was the Sith Emperor.
Oh, wait, was Exegol the Sith homeworld now?
No, it's a Sith world.
Okay.
In the same way that
how did they live on it?
Because they basically made it.
They did.
It was basically Korriban.
It is not arable whatsoever.
Yeah, it is. I mean, there's clouds and shit.
Listen, we accept so much weird shit from Star Wars as a whole. It's little things like that I'm not prepared to harp on.
There's no evidence for cropland on Exegol.
Yeah, there is. I mean, probably distantly. Maybe they do.
There's vegetation on Mustafar, apparently.
That is ass backwards.
What's ass backwards?
Okay, and there's not sound in space. I don't get hung up on that.
Maybe they grew up food
shit.
underground. Because there's statues underground.
But there's no plants underground.
Yeah, there are. Yeah,
we saw the statues, but we didn't see any plant life.
Well, maybe the Emperor's rage had killed it all, so maybe now they feed off of Imperial rations from the Star Destroyers. It's the potato shit or the bread that
But that
Rey
doesn't
made.
explain how they had been there for eternity.
I wouldn't say eternity. I mean,
yeah, because they were there.
Maybe they fed off the rage of
Jared just said that
darkness.
they live on Exegol, they're natives of Exegol.
Well, they grew food somewhere. Come on.
These are the weird details.
100 miles away from.
These are the details that do not matter to the narrative that only we care about. This is the shit that's fun to talk about.
Just the more they try to explain stuff that doesn't even need to be at all.
It's getting better. I'm sure this only gets better.
Yeah, go on.
He found that his Sith Eternal followers hadn't finished their work. As the book puts it, Palpatine was trapped in a broken, dying body.
That's literally Dark Empire. That's the same damn...
It was broken and dying for 30 goddamn years? How broken and dying was it? So the Sith Eternal did everything they could to fix their error, keeping Palpatine alive in his new body, hence that robotic arm with all the tubes,
it's King Omen.
while working to create...
It's from King Omen.
Oh
literally.
my god, what is this? While working to create new genetic stand casts to replace the first body. It was through this process that one not quite identical clone managed to survive. What? This clone thrived, but he was a powerless failure in Palpatine's eyes.
Wait, what? So they grew... Wait, I'm confused. Do they mean...
This is his son now.
Yeah, but...
His son was not Palpatine level. Powerless failure in Palpatine's eyes, full of disappointing ordinariness. That said, the Emperor still saw potential in his new son to carry on his bloodline, so he sent the clone out into the world to fuck. That's what it says. So he sent the clone out into the world to eventually produce an heir.
Well, that's...
Okay, so Darth Sidious, Sheev Palpatine, did not clap cheeks, but he created a clone to clap cheeks for him.
Why would that clone follow Palpatine's orders insofar as producing an heir, but then saying to Rey, "Oh, be your own person" or whatever?
Well, he was probably everybody does bad things, and they're like, "Wait a minute, I shouldn't have done this." So
yeah, that makes sense because the dad's probably like, "Hey, we made a very big mistake. we need to hide you from him now.
Yeah.
And like realize that like he was about to cause his own child horrible trauma.
It barely makes sense. Like, okay, so is this
any better than Palpatine having a lover? Is this any better than Palpatine having a lover?
No. Wait, is it that clones?
It isn't.
Is it that the clones were when they were created were already screwed up, or were they growing them from babies? And then, like, Palpatine...
It doesn't say. It's referring specifically to Rey's father.
No, yeah, I know. But, like, if he's a clone, then why is the clone all screwed up then?
Why is this clone young, but the clones we see in the movie, they're just more Snokes?
Dudes.
And it was through that eventual union, unexpected as it was, that Rey was born, the book reads.
That's stupid. They could have just left it alone.
What was Rey's mom's name?
Great question.
Like Lloyd?
They could have just left it alone. He was the emperor of the galaxy. That man can get whatever woman he wants because they can't say no.
And it makes him more creepy. It makes him more insidious and evil. If you, again, like, it's that weird, like,
that's why
Bellatrix Lestrange and Voldemort romance, where, like, you have this awful human being who is now abusing... who's now abusing people who, like, cultishly follow him.
Yeah.
So in the biological sense, Rey is not actually Rey is not actually Palpatine's granddaughter, because she is her own grandpa. She's the daughter of his clone, albeit a clone just different enough to look like a regular guy with no dreams of Sith conquest. This is particularly interesting in light of the clone's own inner life, since we still know very little about him as a person. In the film, he seems to have known that it was important to hide his daughter, but did he know why? Does he remember anything of his past? That's another thing, is that, like, it doesn't necessarily specify that Palpatine was like, hey, that, like, Palpatine was like, your mission is to go clap cheeks, or if, like, they just said, get rid of him, keep an eye on him, eventually he'll clap cheeks.
I feel like that would probably be the better...
Maybe.
That would make more sense, because...
Rey was born little more than a decade after Return of the Jedi, and his clone son was clearly a product of Sith Eternal efforts after Palpatine's original body died. Okay, so that would make sense that the bodies or have some type of accelerated aging then.
So this one was different in that it... Wait.
No, it wouldn't be different. If Rey's born, like, about a decade after Jedi, and Palpatine's cloning project started not long before Jedi... then there is some amount of accelerated aging happening with this clone.
So when were these clones first created?
It doesn't say, but, like, we can only use context clues to, like, gather a rough estimate. Does he know this? Does he have fake memories? I agree with this sentence. Now it feels like a whole other novel could be written just focusing on this and his strange legacy.
Oh, please don't.
I think...
I don't care about this man. Do you? Can you look me in the eye?
It's the Emperor's son boy
and
clone.
say, boy, I can't wait until we learn about this failed Palpatine
I can't
clone.
wait.
I want to know more about this whole clusterfuck. And that includes him. I need it to make sense. I need to be able to understand this.
His name is probably like Sheev backwards. Like
there's not much to understand. I think it's pretty clear that this is just a
Vish.
A company.
You say yeesh.
Vish.
No, so you just call it yeesh because that's how I feel reading it.
This is just a case of a company trying to
make as much
put
money
puzzle
as they
pieces that didn't need to be placed in the puzzle
and into
the puzzle.
That flat out don't fit.
And they're just not good at connecting the dots that already exist.
They're like your uncle who cuts out the middle of the pie at Thanksgiving. You know, like a triangle in the midst of the pie. But like slightly off so that no one else can get an even piece.
I don't know anyone who's ever done that.
You know the memes.
Only that it sounds like something you would do.
I'm not into pie.
God save the pies.
This is dumb.
The novelization is officially released to the general public on March 17th.
Wow.
St. Patty's Day. When
there's
going to be a lot more like, little redhead people, crazy...
They're putting it out on March 17th because they know how angry you're going to get reading it, so you can have a drink ready. So yeah, that was that lunacy.
Every time they try to add more to the movie, I'm starting to like it less and less and less. It's so
just
bad.
So they can make more money.
Well, obviously, they're a company.
Yeah.
But
still.
Yeah.
I'm confused. Do his bodies... Why did he hate his son again?
He viewed him as like a powerless mistake.
Because it was a powerless failure.
Why was he a mistake, though?
Don't know.
Wait.
Because apparently it couldn't keep his soul.
Wait. No, it was not identical clone. What? But it
was not quite an identical clone.
Do the clones have force sensitivity? Or do the clones...
I don't know.
Is Palpatine the one who brings in the force sensitiveness? I guess
I don't know.
It'll all be revealed, I guess.
If you have Palpatine's DNA, and midichlorians are determined by DNA, and you use DNA to make a clone...
No, that's Legends, though. You can't use rules like that and assume
I know that. I'm asking. I know the original rules, but I'm saying, can you clone midichlorians then?
Well, I guess you can. And
they're determined by blood, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how you make a clone with different
Well, what he's
DNA.
getting at is that, in Legends...
I know what he's getting at. Okay. I've been trying to say this for 2 minutes. I don't understand how you can make an imperfect clone.
Yeah.
I mean, and why that would have to rely on the technology.
2020, bro.
Why were they even imperfect? Why would...
If you can make an army of perfectly legitimate Jango Fetts, and even figure out how to speed up their aging.
I mean, but the whole army wasn't perfect. You had examples like 99 that would happen every so often, where
but you still had
part
millions
of the original
of clones.
batch, or was he just his aging process was way too?
He was just the photocopier, which is I'm going to call it in this instance, is kind of shat itself. It was Django. Oops, and then you got a 99. Yeah. So I guess with this, it's kind of like that situation where it's sheave. Oops.
So
sheave.
Wait, were the clones?
But then
when the clones were created, were they already falling apart?
That's a great question.
Because that's what also is.
Are they falling apart because of his presence?
Because that's what
or is it?
If he is this every once in a while, why would he keep him at all?
Yeah. Why does this make it? Why is the clone imperfect?
To extend his bloodline, but why does extending his bloodline matter if the objective is to live forever?
If he could have just used a better clone to spread the bloodline.
You think you have no qualms about killing imperfections?
Why would you use a mutated clone to spread your bloodline?
Yeah, really.
I hate this.
I know.
I hate every part of this.
So, here is the...
Yeah, really. Okay. If you want to live forever, why do you have to... Yeah, because that didn't...
You want to get closer to your microphone.
It didn't make it... Yeah, my spirit will pass into you, and then it's okay, I'm revitalized now I'm going to kill you, but I want you to kill me. No, don't kill me now.
Let's say nothing of the fact that he sent Kylo to kill her.
Now, I have a feeling that was all part of a plot to bring her to him. That's what I have a feeling that might have been. That's how I explain that.
More of the classic Star Wars, it was all a part of Palpatine's plan. That's why none of it makes any fucking sense.
I mean, but... when you look at episode 2, that makes sense that he has people delegating jobs constantly.
Maybe he wanted to merge his bloodline with the Skywalker bloodline, but once again, why do that if you're gonna live forever? Why would you make something more powerful than yourself?
Well, to take over that power.
But at that point, he can't control it because it can kill him on a whim.
What do you mean, Kylo? Or who are you talking about?
The hypothetical hybrid of the Skywalker and Palpatine bloodline. My God, if Ben and Rey had children, that thing would be a god.
He should have gotten them to
no, I guess his plan was to
be fruitful and multiply.
They would have if he didn't kill him.
He should have played his cards better. Or he's saying sorry.
I guess his plan was to absorb them, because that's what he did.
Well, that's what he did in the moment. He was totally confused and stunned and excited.
And that's what drives me insane. Yeah. It's he's shocked by it.
Yeah.
And he's I need to bring you two together. Also, I had no idea you were a dyad in the Force.
But then again, that doesn't make sense because
he
should have known...
I thought he's the one who created the dyad.
Yeah, he should have known if he was controlling
No,
Snoke.
The dyad is just what they are. Is that it's just something that happens whenever two people share a powerful Force bond. That's why whenever Palpatine...
I thought that was explained that Snoke connected them.
Yeah,
it was Snoke who did
No,
that.
they had their connection independent of Snoke.
So what did Snoke do?
Take credit for it.
Then Palpatine should have known about the dyad.
Take credit for it. I think at most Snoke was experiencing the connection because he was already in Ben's head. Because they still have their Force bond going after Snoke is dead.
I just wonder if they already had this Force bond even before the events of the movies. Like if this was always going to happen, or was it something that was created?
Well, I mean, when you look at their respective timelines before they meet, they made a decision that like Ben's Jedi training starts the same year Rey is born. So that they're always kind of in like a weird the galaxy is always kind of cycling.
Wait, how old is she then compared to him?
There's a 10-year age gap.
Oh,
that's
okay.
It's about 8 years, which is what Han and Leia was.
Well, okay. Oh, okay.
And 4 years between Anakin and Padme. So
that's a little less weird, but
okay. Well, you don't.
I know.
You don't notice until you're told. Yeah. With both Han and Leia and Ben and Rey, you don't notice until you're told about it.
But like the thing is, did Palpatine know that maybe he didn't? Maybe he knew about the dyad because he was using it through Snoke. But maybe he didn't know that the dyad siphoning it could heal him. That's maybe what he didn't know. He probably knew about the dyad.
He seemed so confused. He was confused. He force drains him and goes, "What the hell?"
No. Probably what the hell, because he had no idea he could use that to heal himself. He probably didn't know that.
But the way he says, he's like, your connection, a dyad in the Force. He's talking through it because he's figuring it out as he's doing it.
You mean that they have a dyad?
Yeah.
So you think that he didn't know. But the thing is, he should have known, because if he was controlling Snoke, who knew they were a dyad. I'm not
surprised he didn't know.
That's a problem.
I don't think Snoke recognized it as them being a dyad in the Force. Like, we're talking...
Well, that's pretty stupid for a Dark Lord of the Sith, isn't it?
Because he should have known that. If he can control... That's the thing. How the hell is he controlling Snoke?
Then again, I'm not surprised you didn't know there was a dyad until episode... There was a dyad until episode...
I just thought they had like a bond or something.
Well, I don't think that term was ever being thrown in episode 9.
Because it's stupid.
But...
I always thought it was just like a
Dyad.
Isn't it? Shouldn't it be D-I-A-D? That should be the correct.
Dyad.
Yeah.
Dyad. So here's the other dust up that happened because Screen Rant loves clickbait. Reading this Screen Rant headline, which all of you have probably seen by now. Star Wars confirms. No individuals. No individuals say it. It's just Star Wars confirms the concept of Star Wars that Rey and Ben's kiss wasn't romantic, which just that sentence alone is hilarious to me. To say like, oh, hey, these two people passionately kissed in a movie and it wasn't romantic. Anyway. Here's the quote from the novel, which I think even the quote itself is contradictory to that. His heart was full as Rey reached for his face. Let her fingers linger against his cheek, and then, wonder of wonders, she leaned forward and kissed him.
Wonder of wonders.
Shut up. I love this scene. Be quiet.
No, I'm not laughing at it. I'm laughing at this.
A kiss of gratitude.
I'm laughing at Wonder.
Acknowledgement of their connection. Celebration that they'd found each other at last.
Her fingers linger. You should never...
But then she drew back, concern on her face. She could feel him growing cold. Ben smiled at her. He had given Rey back to the galaxy. It wouldn't atone for the darkness he'd brought, but it was what he could do. God. I don't understand how the excerpt can read that they'd found each other at last and this is an acknowledgement of their connection and it not be romantic. That makes, and I understand, Levi, that like you don't think Reylo was given enough setup
in the movies. No, not at all. Lots of symbolism, but no substance behind the symbolism.
And you and I know you and I don't quite agree on that. And I understand your stance. I wish it had been.
There should have been more for it.
I think
should have been a lot more.
And Levi and I were saying this before you got here, Mike.
Yeah.
I think that one of the reasons why Reylo is so weird to a lot of people is that in Star Wars, romance is very rarely implicit.
Yeah, I mean,
Han and Leia, they lay it on thick, and they're like, they make it very clear that these two have feelings for each other.
Padme and
Anakin. There is no
implicitness, there's no
subtlety there.
So, That's how a healthy, consenting relationship should be.
Well,
okay, I mean, but you can also write romance to not be like the over the top, like the way, you know, like I truly, deeply love you.
I know.
Shit.
I know. But, for instance, when Ben's saying, "You take my hand," or Kylo, whatever the hell he
that
is,
isn't romance. That's,
I know.
I mean,
but you could have made it like that.
But maybe it.
You know.
But like when he's
I
saying,
always thought
"You're
it-
nothing,
I always
not
thought
to
of
me," like to me, it's like 1/4, possibly romantic, 3/4, just like join me, take. Like,
yeah, because that's coming
rule
off
with
the
me,
tales
you know?
of "You need a teacher."
I will. Okay, that is fair.
They just do not do enough to establish romantic feelings in the movies.
And again, and I'm biased because I consumed every bit of extra canon material as well. So like I
Right.
went into the Force Awakens knowing, or I went into the Last Jedi knowing Rey and Kylo's inner monologues whenever they shared time together in the Force Awakens. That in the interrogation chamber, like the novel goes out of its way to call attention to the fact that Rey's like, I know I should probably hate you, but you're really good looking.
Really?
And that, like, you know, Ben has this, like...
Or could that was that used for comedic effect? Like,
no, she doesn't
with
say
like
it.
the Ben Swallow stuff.
Not like the Ben Swallow stuff, but insofar as, like, it calls attention to her noticing Ben's features. When he, you know, that's what happens when you're being chased by a creature in a mask.
Right.
And then he takes off. She's like, okay, damn.
Yeah.
Bad guy, but damn.
But that was not expressed in the movies. In the movies,
but I know, but
it was played for comedic effect.
Well, there is
awkward comedic effect too.
You have a cow or something.
Well, I mean, in the novel, it's also very Rey's like, please put a shirt on because you're too hot right now. And again, like it's because I went into it knowing that there was some amount of like, we're trying to make it clear that these two have some type of connection that they didn't even know about when they met.
Maybe not necessarily romantic though.
Not even.
But it's yes,
they're meant to be together. That's the point of these two characters
meant to be
existing
together.
in the same
Maybe is
narrative.
in some other way, but not necessarily in like a erotic or romantic way. Eros, desire.
How not necessarily romantic? That's
like
the
I
whole
said,
point.
like to rule
the whole
together,
point
or
of
for
their...
her to bring him back to the light. That's a relationship. That's not necessarily romantic. I see what you're saying, Levi, but I also see what you say. There are some really rough hints that could be taken. These signs can be taken in different ways.
One of my biggest complaints with the sequel trilogy is that, especially since they decided with the Rise of Skywalker that yes, we are going to canonize Reylo. Again,
this just totally blows that out of the water.
How? I don't think so at all. I don't think anything here.
You don't think the kiss of gratitude? It's like a big F you to the Reylo thing.
A kiss of gratitude, acknowledgement of their connection, and celebration that they'd found each other at last.
And the description
that's
beforehand
just as vague as everything else.
Kind of weird.
Well,
too.
Wonder of Wonders, because this is that like that.
Well, no, that's
her
just
finger
hilarious.
linger.
That's funny.
Finger linger, like you don't.
Yeah,
you're not
he let her fingers linger.
like you're not supposed to. That's like saying that's like using too many to be verbs and saying the same word 20 times in a sentence.
I'm looking forward to the audiobook to see if it sounds as funny.
Fingerlinger.
And then
it's fingerlinger good.
Wonder of Wonders.
Well, Wonder of Wonders makes sense because like this is from Ben's perspective, and I don't think he was expecting that.
Wonder of Wonder. It's like
okay, that's romance novel for holy shit, she kissed me. Like
no, wait.
Oh, Wonder of Wonders.
This is what I wait.
This is dicks.
Wait. You wonder of wonders. Wait, there's this meme I found that it reminds me. God.
All I'm hearing is that this wasn't important enough to be in the movie.
I mean, but if you, my biggest thing is I think
you should not have to do a college thesis amount of research to understand what happens in a movie.
I agree with you. I agree with you. The only reason I really want to talk about this is because this got reported on so widely without people actually reading the excerpt And I don't think that just, again, fingerlinger, wonder of wonders aside.
It's fingerlinging good.
That needs to be on merch. That,
No.
It's raise hand on Ben's face. It's fingerlinger good.
No, because people won't get where it comes from because it's from a novel and not the movie.
I know, but if they listen to the show, they get it.
Our merchandise.
Our merch.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
our merch.
Okay.
Assuming people are listening to the show that they're buying a t-shirt from.
Gotcha.
But like, aside from like the parts of this that are easy to make fun of, the fact that it said the fact that it says "kiss of gratitude," and that is what everybody has built the "it wasn't romantic" argument around.
Yeah.
And then followed immediately by acknowledgement of their connection and celebration that they'd found each other. How does that negate romanticism?
What? I'm sorry.
I'm saying that like meme. The argument that's being made by Screen Rant and by all the people who have like shared this article saying,
it's
and
vague.
by people I mean like the different other news sources, that the whole idea that because it says "kiss of gratitude," that immediately negates the rest of the sentence that is clearly romantic, and we're dealing with Ray Carson, who is a romance writer by trade. That's all I'm saying. Is I think the whole like, "oh, it was never romantic ever," ha ha ha, is utter bullshit and is
so you
dumb.
You think that? So your statement.
I'm saying that this whole brouhaha about this specific scene is manufactured.
So you think that even in the novel it's still romantic?
Yeah, because even the novel says it's romantic.
I don't know if this is romantic though.
Acknowledgement of their connection, celebration that they'd found each other at last.
Their connection is merely a dyad in the Force. That doesn't necessarily mean romance. She just tried to kill him like a few minutes ago on freaking Endor. She almost killed.
Because she came unglued. I'm not saying that it's a perfect relationship, and I'm sure I'm not saying if he had survived, they would have worked this shit out.
See what I mean?
Han and
this
Leia,
is what I'm talking about.
Han and Leia and Anakin and Padme are incredibly toxic. You can't like just make them be the only ones that we're going to put under the magnifying glass here.
No. Having an argument is not the same as driving a lightsaber through one's gut.
A kiss of gratitude, acknowledgement of their connection, celebration that they'd found each other. That's friend zone. That's a friend zone thing. Like, I don't care what people say.
I'm not sure
There is some truth to the existence of this thing, which people call the friend zone. There's some truth to it. And this, to me, kind of reads that way. I see what it means, but I still say the movie definitely romantic. This definitely, yes. It was romantic. It was love. This was like,
Ray Carson is a romance writer. This is meant to be. No, she is. That's the.
No. I'm not debating. I'm not
debating
that, but she might not have done a good job with this scene. They're trying to convey that. Maybe it should have been more.
Well, there's also it doesn't.
Because she had a shitty movie to work off of.
Well,
no, there's that.
How am I trying to say this? I'm trying to say I think that the movie. What happened in the movie was definitely romantic, even though it didn't lead up to that way. But I think I agree with the statement that this is kind of this article statement that the book says it wasn't. Does that make any sense? I agree with what the article is trying to say, but I don't agree that it was real. Like, I don't know what this means. Like, this statement is too vague, I think, to be romance. That's what I think.
I'm trying to find. There's a section in the book that I saw floating around on Twitter as well, where they're like, where they're looking at each other, and Rey is like thirsting on Kylo hard, and Kylo's like I can't remember exactly how it's phrased. Well, then if I read that,
then maybe that'll change my thought on this. But until I've read that, this still.
I can't remember exactly how it went, but it's the scene. It's the "You're a Palpatine, you're his granddaughter" scene, and he like takes off the helmet, and she has another moment of, "Damn, he's fine."
Yeah.
I'm like, she's like, I'm supposed to want to kill you. Kind of want to sit on your face. Like, and he also in his inner monologue is like, damn, she's fine. I'm supposed to kill you, but sit on my face. And I'm not, Levi getting uncomfortable is what's making this funny. But anyway, the Rise of Skywalker novelization is going to be a hoot once it's out. And I, for one, look forward to reading it.
I think I'm being so hard on this because one of my personal favorite series, I'm not calling it a good one, Ruby, has this same to me, failure to establish a romance, at least in the movies. So, like, this is the second time I'm seeing it. And...
So you're already kind of sensitive to this nonsense.
Yeah. Okay, but, like, as I think I should give the novel a chance. Maybe then it'll change how I view these few passages. Because, again, these in some ways are taken out of context of a larger work. So maybe if I read the whole damn thing, maybe then it'll change how I feel about these passages. Mm-hmm. But I still say the movie was definitely, like, that kiss, that moment was romantic, even though it might have come out of nowhere, basically,
it did.
In a lot of ways. But, like,
At this point, the argument for it being romantic is just as strong as the argument being, wow, you literally just brought me back to life, you resurrected me. And that being reactionary.
I agree.
As far as what's in the movies.
I think it could go both ways, and I could see how each could be interpreted to be Reylo or not Reylo.
Moral of the story.
The moral of the story is if the intention was for them to be
just
the romance of the sequels, that if there had been a more clear plan from the giddy up for this trilogy,
then it'd have been fine.
Because Star Wars fans, and like you and I were saying earlier, because Star Wars fans are used to the romance not being implicit. That there is an explicit moment where it's like, hey, this is a thing,
I
right?
like you.
Yeah, because there's
I like me better when I'm with you. He starts like singing to her from across the gap.
Not quite like that.
And Snoke's like, yes, good.
Serenade her with top 40 music. Raw, untamed power.
Too late, Jared, too late.
But like, if that was the intention all along, that there should have been to like make it unambiguous that they are into each other and that's where this story's going,
that'd be fine.
Yeah.
It'd be fine.
Then, again, shoulda, woulda, coulda with the sequel trilogy.
It's just sad. Like, why? Like, so much money.
so much money. Think of all the corona vaccines that could have been made with the sequels. Instead, we got this.
We could be on Mars if it weren't for the entertainment industry.
That's true.
We could be on a human, but then again, we'd be robots. We wouldn't have anything to do, really. We'd just be. That's the thing. We'd be everybody. People are starting to become more obsessed with practicality, and that's not good. That's not good. You can't. And that's what's becoming. Like, we're becoming more like, well, what am I gonna learn with all this stuff I'm learning in school? The core is too much. I'm never gonna use this in my life. It's like, shut up and just learn. Sorry, that's a big rant I have for college, but that's another thing.
I agree with that to a certain extent.
I didn't enjoy learning about sine and cosine waves.
Well, you might need it one day, and more than that, maybe you just let your mind expand.
Okay, listen, I'm not gonna defend like complicated math that like you don't need to balance your checkbook or do your taxes.
Look, algebra.
But that's just that's more practical obsession.
But now, what I'm saying is that I am someone who very much believes that the two most important things on the planet are medicine and art. And that like you need to keep people alive and you need to express the human experience. And those two things, and after those two things, everything else kind of trickles in. Journalism is like a very close third, in my opinion, but I understand what you're getting at. With that, Clone Wars.
I like Wrecker. He's fun.
Yeah,
nice to see someone.
So
happy.
you're caught up on Clone Wars now.
I watched those 3.
Okay.
Now, I need to watch the rest of the damn ones before that. But like, I haven't seen the Citadel episode. I didn't see when Echo got taken.
How much of Clone Wars have you seen?
Seen up till like I think I stopped after a while after like Maul came back initially. So that's a lot.
So I didn't know how far back you were on Clone Wars.
Yeah,
I did not know this.
I know certain things that happen. I know that ultimately there's like the Ahsoka. She got blamed for something she didn't do. So then she's like, "Screw this, I'm out."
Yeah,
and yeah. But now she's coming back, and it's like, okay.
No, actually...
Did she make Night?
No.
She could have.
They were going to treat her, that whole brouhaha, as her Jedi trials.
That's such bullshit. What a bunch of...
Yeah.
But I was hoping one of you would do it. But yeah, they were going to basically say, hey, we goofed.
We now realize that this, in fact, was your Jedi trial.
Yeah, that's basically what. Yeah,
that's what Mace Windu said.
Yeah,
Plo Koon was actually sorry, and he knew it was BS. He knew,
Yeah,
what was it again?
Ahsoka knew,
Barriss bombed the temple and then blamed it on Ahsoka, right?
Barriss Ophi got radicalized, blew up part of the temple.
But she was right.
Barriss wasn't completely wrong.
Why? What were the Jedi up to? What were they doing?
She was just like, the Jedi have
lost their way.
Yeah, the Jedi have lost their way.
They should be
matters anymore.
Yeah.
They're talking out of both sides of their mouth. We're keepers of the peace. Also,
generals and
galactic conflict. Very pro-war these days.
Yeah.
So Barriss had a leg to stand on until she started murdering people about it.
Right.
I thought nobody died.
No.
In the bombing.
I think there were a couple deaths in the bombing itself, but Barriss still killed people to cover her tracks.
Yes, she did.
Now, all the stuff with 99, that was from before all this crap happened, right?
Dirty.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the stuff with 99, they have some previous
99's the failed clone,
right? But
the Bad Batch,
aren't there?
They haven't been featured.
Or do you
I know.
Do you mean Squad 99, like the Bad Batch, or
I'm talking about 99, the dude. Oh God, no.
He's just
the old ass dude. Didn't they introduce him in a
season 3? I think with the cadets.
Yeah.
Yeah. Before the Clone Wars were even happening, and then they brought him back for later episodes, right?
No, he was introduced.
The Clone Wars was happening.
Yeah, he was introduced during the war.
Okay,
and it was this group of clones had not yet joined the war.
Okay,
they were still in training on Kamino
in season 3. Even though we saw them as soldiers in season.
Heavy died in the first episode he was in, right? Defending that.
Heavy.
No.
Okay.
Well, yes.
Again, no. Clone Wars is not told completely chronologically.
Okay.
And that's the issue. Especially for an audience of mostly children who don't understand, why is this an anthology series? It's told out of order.
Yeah.
Because the second episode of the show, Rookies, you have the episode where Heavy gives his life to protect that outpost.
Yeah.
In season 3. When we find 99, I think.
Yeah,
but that's all
99.
That's a prequel to
and that's a prequel to Rookies where you meet Heavy, who's still a cadet.
Yeah.
It's still Domino Squadron.
Yeah.
Right. Heavy cut up Echo, Fives, and the other one.
Jesse.
Fives makes it into the Rebels, right? With Rex.
No, Fives is the one who discovers the inhibitor chip.
And then gets shot killed by Fox.
Yeah. Who part of me really badly wants to believe that Fox knows what's going on.
What is Greed?
Because he's essentially the head of Republic Secret Security or Secret Service. It would make sense if he was he knew what was going on from top.
Who was the guy with Gree who got killed by Yoda?
I don't remember.
What if Gree and that other dude, they had their chips? Because I have to believe this chip crap now. I still hate it. I think it's dumb. But what if, now I'm accepting that it's part of this story?
I think that the way that the clones are...
Okay, we don't have to talk about this.
I think, I will say this much, especially... I do think that plays a role in this week's episode. Is that I think that the way the clones are characterized in TCW, it makes the betrayal feel more realistic and also makes it more tragic.
Probably.
I think, because in my opinion, with the clones being largely unthinking and unfeeling drones like they were in the EU, like they were in Legends, to just have a security protocol where the Chancellor goes, "Hey, Jedi badge, shoot him," and they go, "Okay, you told me to," is that makes sense for that set of circumstances around the clones.
But I still see it though as that's more depressing because with it because they weren't totally robots in the old EU. There were a lot of cases of them being humans, which they were.
Yeah.
But, when you have Aayla Secura and Bly, there's connection there. But I think it's more depressing when their own free will is used. They're giving them, they're obeying. That's more tragic to me when they're using their free will to do what's wrong. And maybe they even know it, but they're well, you know what, orders are orders. But I understand still the argument that the inhibitor chick makes it sad because they couldn't do anything.
Well, then there's an active cover-up. And the fact that they could have busted it. And they came close to pulling it off. And then Fives got whacked to stop him from saying anything.
Who whacked him?
Fox. Commander Fox. Another clone.
Now, was Fox bad himself, or was he just
he's
following
an a-hole, but
I mean, And that's what I was saying to Levi. Is
Fox
like part of me.
know.
Fox almost certainly doesn't know about the inhibitor chips. I just think it would be an interesting character choice.
No, that would
for them to have him be like, since he's so close to the top and so fanatically loyal that
I think that would just be an excuse for the fan base to have a reason to hate an already hateable character.
But yeah,
we don't need that.
And what I was saying is how that might tie in is jumping all the way to the end of the episode.
What are the bad?
Whenever they're getting onto the shuttle and Rex is like, hey, back to normal, buddy. And like Echo goes like full 100-yard stare.
Yeah.
And just like gazes into nothingness.
It's also because
and goes,
his fucking hand is cut off. He's got like Borg shit all over his body.
Well,
but he looked happy. He looked at peace.
After that stare though, there was something.
That stare, and then he's like,
I know.
But at the end,
normal. Yeah.
Like it felt kind of sinister.
I don't
know what that was supposed to be.
I agree though.
Because it didn't sound like what you just did.
You're right. I don't know.
It sounded like longing for back to normal. And he had a peaceful, serene smile at the end.
But you don't think that he was like the Separatists did something to him that maybe he's going to bite him in the ass later? No. You don't think? Because I think that's what
I think he just knows.
That's what you think, right?
I think that there's going to be a development next week that is like really, really ugly.
I know he knows that Rex was only saying that to make him feel better. He knows nothing can go back to normal. But he's glad to be back, He's glad that somebody came for him, that his brother came for him.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the action in this one. I like...
They should have had... They fly now? I kind of was hoping for that a little bit.
That little call. I mean, yeah, there wasn't enough time for them to like write that in, though. Like, you got to figure how long these episodes take to make.
That's right. Yeah, I don't know how much... Yeah, I wonder how much... Yeah, it must have been way
Got 17 minutes of content.
Yeah, I wish it would have been a longer episode.
I feel a bit robbed.
They used to be 30 minutes each of them, right? No,
you got it. I mean, that felt like it because commercials.
Oh, right. Yeah, 20. Yeah, that's right.
24.
Yeah.
Like anime.
I also really... Okay. I have heard several people say the same thing you've said multiple times, Mike, about Anakin.
Yeah.
And as the local Anakin stan, a Stanikin, if you will, I'll see myself out of my own home. I don't see that at all. You
don't see it at all.
I don't see, like how like you guys are just like you said, like he looks like he's just passively seething with rage.
Actively, he's furious all the time.
I don't see that. He seems
probably because you're so used to seeing because you've watched all of them as he develops, so it's hard. It might be hard for you to tell,
I just don't.
He's agitated.
I will agree. I will say that he's agitated, and we're clearly dealing with an Anakin who's like
post Ahsoka leaving him.
He's had
post all of the other shit he's dealt with in the war. They're all crazy war veterans now. They have all gone through like 20 million Battle of the Bulges.
Plus, he's fighting a campaign with Mace Windu.
Yeah,
I don't even think it's that. I mean,
I think it's that.
Have they been?
Oh, that definitely plays a role.
Probably.
Yeah,
but have they
do not get along?
Have they been developing in the Clone Wars a conflict between Mace and Anakin?
No, because they're never around, and that's probably
the best
bad. Establishment.
That's that.
Well, there's the arc that they have together with like the Boba Fett's revenge thing. Where, the whole time Anakin is trying to pal around with Mace, and Mace is basically like, don't talk to me. I don't like you. I didn't like you when you were a kid. I didn't like you when you were a Padawan. I don't like you now. And I'm not going to like you in the movie when I tell you you're not a master. So go screw yourself, Sandy Low Ground. I don't want to talk to you.
But really, he wasn't nice when Anakin was trying. Okay, and that might be a source.
No.
So I think that, because you got to figure, Anakin, despite everybody on the council almost saying, I don't know about this kid, to some degree or another, both in canon and in Legends, even though it doesn't count, it's established that Anakin is able to get along with pretty much everybody on the council.
A lot of these guys, they kind of put past it and they're like, okay, well,
Yeah, maybe we were wrong. We've seen all the acts of heroism that have come from you. We're glad you're here.
Yeah.
He's cool with Plo. He's cool with Ki-Adi-Mundi. He's cool with even Yoda.
Well, Yoda's cool with everyone.
Yoda's cool with everybody, but the fact that
Kit Fisto.
Anakin is able to let his own guard down for Yoda to be cool with him.
Kit's got the good spice.
Kit has the best spice.
Oh, it.
You don't get to be that mellow in a room full of that much ego without like taking like a little bit, like taking like a hit of like a little bit of a space joint.
Dude is a space Jamaican.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh my god. I can only imagine. I really badly want there to be like a moment where like he like Eth Koth like comes to his quarters. He's like, "Hey, council meeting." Kit's like, "Ah,
into the vent.
You want to end, Eth? Eth, you want some? You want some?
You want the Mega Man?
Yarrow Poof hits some up.
Yeah, like that's why Yarrow Poof. That's why Yarrow Poof and Phantom Menace. That's why he's just straight vibing, because Yarrow Poof is tripping space balls during that meeting. He's just like, he just leans over to Oppo Rancer, just like, "Yo, who the fuck's the kid, man?"
Dude, like, I thought I shouldn't.
You're like the chosen one, dude. It's a prophecy, dude, and you're like, here, dude. Damn.
Do they have Space Peyote?
There has to be Space Peyote. Visions? There has to.
How did he get along with Coleman Trevor? I guess we'll never know.
I don't care. I'm glad Coleman Trevor died. There's only one character whose death makes me happier than Coleman Trevor. There's two characters whose death makes me happier than Coleman Trevor's, and that is Savage Opress and Nyan Dum. All three of them deserve to die, and I hope they burned in hell.
What were the circumstances again that led to the fight between Sidious and Yoda? Because I only saw that clip and I was like, okay, that's brilliant. That's
Space Peyote.
That's risky.
It's Space Peyote.
Oh, they weren't actually.
It was like a Mindscape type thing.
Fuck, because that would have been kind of cool. Kind of like that's something in Legends I can get behind. Like bleeding a lightsaber crystal. Okay, I don't like that they're kyber crystals, but I can get behind that. That like that's you bleed. Ooh, that. But that remember again, Yoda fighting Sidious. That's something I can kind of get behind. But some other things I can't. Like,
yeah. How did you? I liked the.
Okay, what's it with the fucking the Techno Union Jagovs being neutral? Was that established earlier?
All the corporations that are like all of the corporations like the banking clan and all that.
Anyone who's making money,
technically
from both sides.
Yeah, technically the banking clan and the Techno Union and the Trade Federation are neutral.
No.
They're just being
That doesn't make
paid.
any fucking sense.
No, that's
not
how
what
it's
it was
explained.
in the movie in episode 2. It was like, like we are with you. These organizations.
Okay, I know that's the point. Is that they are neutral. They're claiming neutrality while actively helping the Separatists.
No, but they never claimed neutrality. They were part of the star systems that were seceding from the Republic.
They pledged their allegiance to Dooku, but so that they can make money on both sides and actively screw the Republic. They claim neutrality. They're like, yeah, we're just going for the highest bidder here.
That's stupid.
We don't have a stake in this.
If we're constantly fighting these droids that are from these companies, the Republic's going to be like, you're not fucking neutral.
No, but that's the thing, is that like the banking clan is funding both sides. There's an entire story arc. I can't believe I'm saying this sentence because it is so insane.
Rush Clovis.
That there's an entire episode dedicated to Padme trying to negotiate with the banking clan because the banking clan is deliberately putting higher interest rates on Republic loans than they are in the Confederacy. All of these companies, and again, like this was the point of the prequel trilogy to talk about how modern world has become a capitalist nightmare where corporations have the same amount of power as a governing body. That's why the Trade Federation has a seat in the Senate. That
I think in the EU, then I must be still thinking EU because in the EU I thought it was more
in the EU it was an explicit like we're on this side.
Yeah.
With this, it's they threw us money. Like we're just not going to pick a team. We're just giving stuff to whoever pays us to. And it's an open secret. Everybody there knows that the Techno Union is clearly backing the Separatist alliance. Everybody knows that the Trade Federation is clearly throwing their support behind the Separatists. It's just a matter of them being able to claim.
It's still weak. It's still.
I like it. I like the idea of like the corporate duplicity there and the fact that like
it's not much duplicity if everybody knows it well.
It's duplicity when everybody knows it, but you still can't say that they're doing it. because they do just enough to keep their hands clean.
I don't
just
think that's
enough
how it
for
works
that.
even in real life, though. I don't think Krupp was like working with the Americans too in World War II. Like, I don't think, they were making stuff for Nazi Germany. That doesn't that it's too like
Levi,
we're trying to be realistic, but I think maybe even in real life things aren't that.
What I thought of the episode was
that was my next.
I thought it was short.
Yeah,
I thought it was real short. I feel kind of cheated. You might not have felt this because you binged all 3, I guess.
Yeah. They were smaller, I think. Yeah,
and you cut the commercials out.
The action was fine. Like, I liked everything in it, but I just wanted more in it.
I really enjoyed the battle in the Poltec village. I think that was like the high point of this arc so far for me.
Bringing the Indians into it.
Yeah, and I also like the whole. The way the Poltecs talk makes me really uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah.
That was all dialogue from the Bad Batch. Especially with the occasional Jedi.
Jedi separatists.
Yeah, separatists. I enjoyed this episode. I'm liking the Bad Batch more and more with every episode. Like, they're starting to feel more and more like actual people.
When is Hunter going to get development?
Which one's he?
The leader.
I mean, Rambo.
Yeah, Rambo Fett. That's what we've been calling him.
He's already kind of Rambo, so like, he's Rambo.
just copy and paste all of John Rambo's personality traits onto Hunter. Done.
They started it.
He was born to a Native American mother and a Italian father. Yeah.
They started it. I had to fight.
Like, what?
Maybe this time we'll win.
Being like an outsider, kind of coming back to watch like more Clone Wars stuff, like the shots, it reminds me more of 1917. These long, continuous shots, like it's less. Shots change less frequently in these episodes. I'm feeling.
I think they're trying to.
I feel like 1917.
I think they're trying to grow the Clone Wars with its old audience.
I think you're absolutely right, because they always did that. They're always really good at that, and now they're like, we know we're dealing with a huge audience of people who are going to be.
That's what a lot of series do.
Yeah, there's that. I like the attention to detail with the cinematography. Even though there's not an actual physical camera there, obviously, but like in the first episode we talked about this, like really long take while Rex and Tech ran into the room. This episode's really action heavy. There's not a whole lot you can talk about beyond the action. Speculating on what the finale to this arc will hold. We've not gotten a whole. And since you haven't talked about it yet, Mike, how did you feel about the Obi-Wan scene from episode 2?
Oh, that's when.
At least tell Padme I said hello.
I think they all knew they were.
To what extent?
I think they all knew.
Everyone knows.
He's getting. They all knew. Every one of them. I think every single one of them. Like, I think that Yoda scene when train yourself to let go of everything you feel to lose. That was like.
We know. We know.
Yeah.
We know.
But they were. I think that's part of their corruption that they didn't. What they probably would have done is been like, you cannot have this relationship of being the war. We need this guy. Like it. Mm-hmm. I think that's what happens in war. Like the U.S. makes, like in Amanda Waller, be like, the U.S. deals with the mafia to protect the ship. This is World War III. Like that. Yeah. It's like that.
So I was talking about this last week, and that's gangsta. Yeah. Lots of Suicide Squad this episode. I think the Jedi knew to a certain extent. I don't think they realized how deep it ran. Like I think the council at worst was like, Skywalker has some type of like, F buddy arrangement with this senator, and that's pretty much where this is gonna sit. And we're gonna not poke around and poke that bear.
Oh yeah, she had a baby bump.
So
she had one. Clearly, I saw it.
It's way more subtle than it was in the trailer. If you go back and look at the trailer, she looks like she's 9 months pregnant, about to burst.
Okay.
This one, there's a bump. She doesn't take her hand off of it.
Yeah, she
and
always
I remember sitting there the whole time, like, Anakin, you didn't notice that? You dumbass. Like, and it maybe
he's never seen it in his life.
That's the thing about the dark side. He was very much like mired in it, I think, already. You know,
I think a lot of that. I mean, and again, I'll make a really stupid argument.
That's the thing about life. A lot of humans, we don't notice shit. Like humanity, we could be idiots. You know that. Anyway, you were saying.
I mean, granted, Anakin's like looking head on at her.
Yeah.
So like maybe he's not seeing like the dimensions that we are from that camera angle.
Well, maybe he saw it and literally thought, "Oh, she's gotten fat." You know, that's. You know,
oh my god.
That's in World War I. Like back in the day, before fatness was a sin, you know, back then it was good that you had some weight on you because that showed that you were like prosperous and that you could eat. You were eating. Like this one soldier, after like I read this, or what was it, Mr. Snyder in history class talked about it, and he was like, he read about his relative who was in World War I who had a picture of his girlfriend or wife that was sent to him, and he wrote to her, "I can see you've put on weight. I'm very happy about that. Like I'm pleased." You know, like that. Mm-hmm. That was good. So maybe he was like, "Oh, she's fat. Okay, she's eating. Thank God." Maybe he noticed it. I don't know. That's where that went.
I don't know.
I think humans can be idiots. We can overlook stuff. You know, like if that's the thing. Like, you know, plot holes. It's just I think a lot of times plot holes are simply just human error. Like humans don't, or not even error. Just humans might elect to make a different decision at a time, and it's not a bad thing. It's just
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I think the word plot hole has lost all its meaning anymore. I don't think
that's a good way to think. It could be. Yeah,
I don't think a plot hole. I don't think in the way that the concept of a plot hole used to exist, it exists anymore. Because a plot hole was like this breaks the story, and you can't really rationalize around it. You know, like where at anything people go, this is a plot hole, this is a continuity error. Like again, like Screen Rant coming back to it, which is just almost as bad as We Got This Covered and stuff like that. Whenever the first episode of the new season started, when it came out, Screen Rant did this piece about like how the newest episode of Star Wars: The Clone Wars creates a massive continuity error and plot hole about how the clones work, and they like explain and they call attention to the line in season 3. Again, in that same arc we were talking about earlier, where Lama Su says to Shaak Ti, the production of the clone army has become much harder since we don't have like a whole lot more DNA from Jango Fett. Like we're getting to the point where we have to stretch this shit, and we're gonna start producing more and more 99s eventually. And they said that line means that the Bad Batch makes no sense. And that the Bad Batch, and they were like, well, if you can create the Bad Batch, why is it bad that you're running out of DNA? It's like, no, they deliberately mutated the Bad Batch. That's the point, is that they took the time and went, okay, how can we genetically give one of them super strength and let the other one, have
lose his sight a little bit, like have bad eyesight and become way smarter and more technically apt.
Stuff like that. It's frustrating. So I hate the concept of a plot hole.
Who's the leader again? Who's Rambo? What's his real name?
Hunter.
What's Hunter's mutation?
He can hear things.
Yeah. Kind of like
or sense things.
He's kind of like Daredevil's radar sense.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what's Crosshair?
He can
just
see
really accurate.
far.
Crosshair good at shoot.
Okay. There's only 4 of them, right?
Crosshair, take gun, shoot far.
Yeah.
Take gun, shoot far. Who is the guy with the freaking Confederate or the Republic stamp, the tattoo on his head and like his body?
That's Jesse.
Was he part of the batch too, or
no? He
was Domino Squad.
Yeah, he's in the 501st. He's an ARC trooper.
Oh, right.
Jesse was an ARC?
Or no, Jesse wasn't an ARC, but he's in the 501st.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm very excited for next week. I really want to see how this arc concludes.
I hope Echo gets fixed up. I hope he's all right.
Do you think, Levi and I were talking about this before as we were with Connor last week, do you think someone's going to die? Because it's kind of Clone Wars tradition that new characters don't last long.
Domino Squadron.
And I'm like legitimately shocked that all 4 members of the Bad Batch are still breathing. because I thought Wrecker was a goner during the Poltec and
I thought he was going to get killed in the room. I thought in the room he was going to get it, or maybe even when he got the damn
walker,
damn thing like that was
the walker.
Was
See, I got a little nervous in the room, but like whenever like he actually started, like Anakin started to lift him with the Force, I was like, okay, he's fine.
Yeah. If anyone's gonna die, it'll be Echo.
Oh, I really don't want to see it. I know you like the whole domino squad falling down thing that you like.
That's the theme that exists.
I don't want to see Wrecker die. He just makes me happy.
I thought Wrecker was whenever like the walker's leg came down. Yeah,
and he's carrying
it. And they show that like it's
know.
cracking around him in that like heat pit.
It's breaking the ground, not him.
Yeah, but he's like right over top of that pit.
That means he's so damn strong that his spine.
No one in the Bad Batch feels killable.
He reminds me of Star Wars Patrick. He talks like Patrick. Like, oh, okay. I don't really like heights. Well, like if you replace him with Patrick's voice, it's the same character to me.
Oh my god, someone needs to do that so badly now.
They're the same. Like that.
Yeah, I'm not really used to working with regs.
Like you can see Wrecker. Remember, like when SpongeBob was going into people's dreams, and he finds Patrick like on the seahorse ride. Yeah. Like that's Wrecker. You know, he's just on a seahorse in his head. He's relaxing.
Or we could do the reverse and take D. Bradley Baker as Wrecker and have him that dub over Patrick.
Just give me some droids to crack.
Yeah, just like. I'm a goofy goober! You're like, the machinations of my mind will remain an enigma, Reg. Oh god, I want to see SpongeBob dubs of Clone Wars now. I need Plankton as Dooku.
It can happen. People have made.
I mean, Tom Kenny already has. Okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Wait, has he worked for Clone Wars? What?
What'd you say?
Has Tom Kenny worked on Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. Was he?
Yeah, that one Republic detective. They do a couple. Yeah. He's showed up a couple times.
That's hilarious. Tom
Kenny. Anybody out there, please make SpongeBob Clone Wars happen.
Yeah, all you meme lords and YouTube poopers, please. In the name of God, I beg.
That's it.
Levi, what do you really want to see happen in the next episode to close out this Bad Batch arc?
Western shootout.
The Cad Bane and Boba.
Yeah.
They're just going to show up.
I don't care how. I just want it to happen.
I agree. I really do want to see it. I was just like, to close out the Bad Batch arc, though, like, is there anything that you're...
I want some feel-good stuff.
Yeah, that's what Wrecker is. He's feel-good.
No, Wrecker's an idiot. I want feel-good.
That's the point.
No. No.
You don't think?
No. Feel good.
Like what?
Like happy hugs.
Yeah.
That's what he makes you happy.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
No, he doesn't.
You don't get happy when you see him he's
being
annoying. Himself. You find him annoying? I don't.
I find him a little annoying.
When you put him next to Anakin's steaming rage and fury, I am like, oh, thank God we have someone who's happy.
The one interaction Echo had with Anakin brought me more happy, good feeling than the entirety of Wrecker.
So do you mean you want like good things to happen for people? Or like,
I guess.
I think that's hilarious.
I guess we have
never
different
had to
opinions on what
explain
is
what feel good
good
is before. Everybody just got it.
Because I think that Wrecker brings feel goodness and you don't, so I think that's why I have to explain it. That's why, yeah.
I think the moral of the story is that the big dumb idiot brute makes Michael very happy.
Yeah, he's like comic relief.
It would help if he was funnier.
That's not feel good. That's comedy.
Huh?
That's not feel good necessarily. That's just comedy.
But it can be feel good. Comic relief can be feel good.
Not the kind of comic relief that Wrecker brings, though. Comic relief that is feel good is like a BB-8 or an R2.
But it
like
exists,
Happy
and that's what
he
is.
Yeah, but like I don't think feel good comedy is like, Wrecker eating a turkey leg and bench pressing a gonk droid like he does in episode 2.
That's hilarious.
It is funny, but it's not heartwarming.
Yes, it is.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
That is the equivalent of
when you look at what all these people have gone through and how horrible their lives are and how screwed up everything is, and you see this guy just living life and like trying to find some good in this fucked up mess.
And he can be that way because he's an idiot.
I'm not debating that. I was
that
never
brings
debating
no good
that.
feeling.
Yes, it does.
Feel good is Echo turning to Anakin saying,
Yes,
still showing off, General.
That's feel good too, and this is also feel good.
That's just, ha ha ha. Idiot feels idiot happy.
You just said it. It's feel good too. It is
for
feel
him,
good.
for that individual.
And for us,
no.
the viewer.
No.
Yes.
No, Wrecker is. Shut up. Wrecker is Guardians of the Galaxy 1 Drax.
So what? Still feel good?
Cardboard
still
cutout.
Feel good. You might be right a little bit, but it still feel good. I will not budge.
It makes you feel good, which is valid.
And it can make other audience members feel good. Ergo, it's feel good. Feel good comes in many forms. There's not one
feel
type
good
of
is feel good.
And Wrecker is
I appreciated your meme, Levi. Yeah, that went over his head, but I appreciated that.
You mean the fucking Mr. Incredible? Matt is Matt.
Yeah.
We had the freaking dad moment. Yeah. Good meme. Good meme there. Good
I want that.
Okay, I respect that.
What?
I respect that.
I want feel good.
I thought
we both want feel good. I'm getting it. And he's getting it too with that moment. I'm saying that there are many types of feel good.
But that one moment needs to be a whole episode.
Okay, I agree. Okay, yes.
But it's not gonna happen because Echo's gonna die.
I hope you're wrong. Because I feel bad for Echo.
What do you want?
I want some more Jedi action. I want to see Obi-Wan and Anakin doing their thing as a unit. That always makes me happy.
But it looks like the Techno Union already conceded defeat for this.
The Techno Union.
Well, no, because at the end they're like, we'll find a way to recoup our investment. So I think they're just going to throw everything they have at the Republic base.
That is not a recoupment of investment. No, from what I got from that scene, that's them waiting to find a way to make up the money that they lost in the project before reporting to Dooku.
I mean, the only reason I say that I think there's going to be more battle is that I know there's a third episode in this arc, or a fourth episode in this arc.
Yeah, but the third, I feel pretty clearly cleans up the conflict with the Techno Union.
Oh, I don't disagree with you. I just know that there's one more in the Bad Batch arc.
Do you know spoilers from this?
No, and I don't, like I said, I've watched bits and pieces of the story reels that a lot of these episodes have been based off of. So like I've known nuggets of information going in. I don't know the full thing. I know that they have changed so much off and on throughout these arcs that going explicitly off of the old story reels, you're not going to get exactly what you think you're going to. So I don't know what to expect. I know that the whole Echo reveal was handled completely differently there. So, like, structurally, the Bad Batch arc as it is now versus the story reel version are two different things. So, Mike, what do you want from the final episode in the Bad Batch arc?
I do want more Wrecker moments. They make me happy. Yeah. And I want, I would like to see Echo get patched up, hopefully. Maybe somehow his chip will get busted, maybe. But then again, we don't see him in Rebels, so I don't know what the hell's going to happen. My sound is sounding...
Yeah, I was trying to fix mine.
Okay. Is yours fixed?
No.
We'll fight with it on Monday.
Yeah.
You're at the end here.
But I want to see more good things, and I'm excited to see Ahsoka back, and I need to watch.
That'll be the next
stuff.
arc. The next arc is Ahsoka's walkabout.
Beautiful.
So it's going to be very Ahsoka heavy.
She's the reason I'm clocking in for season 7.
In a weird way, I'm also excited to see like Anakin be more pissed off. Like I'm excited to because this war has taken its toll on everybody. Everybody is like needs a very long oil bath.
You're ready to see the descent.
Yeah, they're like almost at the top of the roller coaster. Like they're after having been through like 20 other ones.
Yeah.
While like watching everyone they love get killed in front of them, all that, it's hard to watch. And so like this is a damn war. This is war, and it's really taking its toll. It's sad to see. I think it's really depressing in a lot of ways. Like
it is
what these clones are going through, what everybody is going through is just horrible.
The clones have to have such a constant existential dread of like, well, we're alive, and I love the people that I get to live with and serve next to, but I only get to live because of the war. And since the war's happening, there's a good chance I die. So I exist to die, but I love being alive, and I love the people who love me.
And after the war's ended, what am I going to do then? I might not. What if I'm not needed?
Again, questions that Star Wars has not taken the time to address as to what the hell you do with like a massive population of clones just dropped into galactic.
Your what?
My hearing almost came back.
There's something. The wires are all muddled, and something's pulling in the wrong direction.
That's it.
So I can't move my hand for the rest of the episode. With that, Levi, where can the lovely people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at at Professor Levi on Twitter. On Twitter, Professor Levi.
Mike, where can the lovely people find you?
DarthId415 on Twitter.
You guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, it's on Twitter and Instagram on DarkJedi2552. You guys can also follow the Nerd Academy on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook,
YouTube,
and be sure to check out our website, www.thenerdacademypodcast.com. We have a very big announcement coming at you guys in the next episode of the Nerd Academy, so be sure to tune in for that. With that, we are honored that you have joined us. Looking forward to wrapping up the Bad Batch arc with our reviews next week. Nothing but good things coming here. May the Force be with you all. Always.
Class dismissed.